Hey everybody, and welcome back to By Bassjackers. I know it has been a long wait, but here it is, finally, Season 2. And in this first episode of Season 2, we're gonna kick it off with a really special track to me called Destiny. Before we begin, I'm gonna show you what to do with the file when you download it. Just go to your Explorer, drag the file into FL, there you go, and it will open by itself. So, when you're done opening the file, you can see that I have, underneath all the VSTs I use, you can see these consolidated waveforms. So, if you unmute them and just delete those, you can still play the file as it is, even though you don't have the synths. So, take that into mind, and if you want to have the full experience, of course, download and buy the synths. It will definitely help you, and if you're serious about your producing, I would urge you to do it. Let's go. So, as you can see, I already opened up the project. It's an interesting one because we're using vocals in this one. I have muted them because I want to show you the track with and without the vocals. Special kudos to the singer and writer of the track, Matt B. He really killed it on this one. I really love the vocals. Plus also shout out to Urbo. He was the sound engineer on the project and he recorded and processed the vocals, which is a whole different ball game, but he really nailed it. So thanks guys. So back to the project. Let me just play you the intro and we'll have a chat. I'll walk you through the whole project later.
Bassjackers from the party, international singular baby. How long? We are the youth and we are the people. Cause no one preach in front of the steeple. Connected together, the greatest place ever. La mano mano my part, mano mano max, part mano maximum. Cause I got no escape, I got no remedy. You down back in the game, and it's a live.
Yikes. Well, that's a common problem. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. If you're having CPU problems, you can always go to macros, switch smart disable, and then it'll turn off all the plugins you're not using. It helps a bit. The thing here right now is because I'm using OBS to record my screen and run FL Studio at the same time, the computer has a hard time. So take that in mind. Well, we could hear the intro. Let me just tell you quickly what I've done. Well, there's a subdrop. Just to fill it up, I love this vocal thing, which I added and put up a lot of reverb. Here I have this cool sample of a reggae vibe thing. What's also cool is at the time the Cashmere pack just released, and this thing here, I think it's amazing. I use it throughout the whole track and some other tracks as well. I muted that bass. I love this piano loop, by the way. You cannot hear it that loud, but it's in there, and now you will know it's in there and you will hear it all the time, and it adds so much flavor to the whole track. Okay, so the initial plan was to keep the verses a bit more, how do you call it, I called some real drums, a bit more natural, whereas the drops will be really electronic. I like the contrast. So I used all these recorded drum loops, which is interesting. When a sound is recorded really good, you don't have to process that much. And I like it. It's interesting. all these loops by itself don't sound that interesting, but I tried a lot of them, and at some point it just works. And you have this bass point. I somewhere started with this one. And then I added stuff, you know. And then you think, I don't like the sound of that clap. It needs something else. You don't always have to work on the clap per se. You can also add a sound, layer it, and then make it something different. So that's when you add the snare. So all these sounds combined just make it a different beast on its own. And if I walk you through it, I didn't do a lot of EQing or reverb or whatever, just cutting off some lows here and there. This one I gave some reverb. And this one I think I didn't do anything. Yeah, there you go. And that's also... The thing is, when it's recorded good, it sounds good, and when it sounds good, you don't need to do anything with it. If you combine loops and notice some lows are clashing or whatever, then you have to take out the lows from the one or the other and make it work together. But here, there's nothing really much going on, and I think as a whole, it sounds really good, especially when you add the 808 kick. So it is an 808 kick from a Nexus. Yeah, if you have Nexus, look it up. I only used a transient shaper on it because it's it's a kick with a sub in one, or yeah, that punch and sub is one. So in order to have the punch stick out a bit more, I used the transient shaper and upped the attack. There's the one, I used it like this. It's normally like this, and it just gave it a little bit more punch. Okay, so from here on out, we go into the build-up. Okay, so what I do, here you see, oh wait, here's a snare, which I pitched up. I like these horns from the Cashmere pack, they just fill up the place. Let me see what I did here, because there was something special with this. I see it's an F, but our project is one semitone higher in F square. Oh yeah, I did it like this. You can always pitch correct samples using Newtone. I did it, pitch correct sample. And then you can, if you press Control and you select them all, you can... You can change the tone of it, then drag it into... Oh, that's a little bit weird. Why is this? Okay. Probably did something wrong, but now it will sound a lot higher. And you can definitely hear that it's processed, because it's now twice processed as well. But it's a little trick to just try out when you want to alter the pitch of a certain sample. You can use Newtone, but you can as well just use this pitch correct thing or make it stretch, and then you can pitch correct it right here. Also, some useful information to tell you is when you want a pitch to go up, let's take the snare, it always starts at pitch range 2. if you want to pitch it up an octave, you need to put this on 12. That means 12 semitones. Create automation clip, and then it will go up. It will go up 1 octave. Remember to put this in the correct range, because if you do it like this, let's show you guys. Okay, so then it only pitches 2 semitones, which is 1 note. So that's the pitching section. I use these claps here. I have this cool sound. I found this sample. And I emphasized it with this. This is actually called derpings. Yes, it's a synth I used in the track Derp, which reached over 100 million views on YouTube. I'm very proud of that one. Here the reggae thing again. So as you can see, it's again a whole scala of sounds together, which make it this. And it will drop hard. It's a basic build-up. I like these things which make it a bit more different. It feels like a different section in the track as well. And when we add the vocals,
no escape, I got no remedy. You're down back in the game, and it's a live for free. Be what you wanna be, we have to wait and see. Addictive company, my rules, my destiny.
That was a bit weird. Let's zoom in on the drop. It's cool. It's really electronic. Let me walk you through it real quick. So I'm using this top kick. I filtered out the low of it because it's already filled up by this 808. It would only clash if we would leave it in. It's again the same 808 as I've shown before. This is interesting as well, the snare section. This one is really powerful, but when I was playing the beat, and again it's where the layering comes in again. It just felt a little bit empty. So what did I do? I added this cool sound, and don't get me wrong, it's not that easy to just pick out a sound. I tried maybe 463 sounds until I stumbled upon this one, and I thought, hey, this sounds really cool. So I added this. Okay, so and then you get this overall snare. And if you ask me, it really has character now, you know. It makes it's a cool, different snare. Something you wouldn't stumble upon in another track because you did it yourself. And then I added these things, the kind of a stab by Cashmere. Also, again, here you can notice it by the little triangles. I use new tone here to change the pitch. Here I have a crash, the vocal thing again, and then we get to the lead. Here you can hear those riffs going about it. It's really cool. I like this one. Okay, so let's walk through how we made the lead as it is. We start out with the wow filter. Just download that thing and try it out. It's really cool. You can notice the whole sound being shifted. Then sausage fattener to pump it all up. And then we have two EQs, again to boost a lot of high and to cut out the lows. It's actually this one, it's kind of necessary, but whatever, let's leave it in there. Now again, I just boosted the attack on it with the transient shaper. To be honest, nowadays I use the transient shaper of the processor of FL Studio, and I would use it like this here. Boost up that attack. Then a lot of reverb, and yeah, well, it's interesting. I put this one on there because usually when you're making 4 to the floor stuff, yeah, you got a sidechain to make room for the kick. In this matter, not here to be honest, but I did it anyway, but notice, not that much. But it just gives this dynamic to the whole track, which I like. And I left it in there, but also here, it was kind of an accident. And I just left it in there because when I took it away, I missed something. So it sounds like this. Then also did some pitch bending. Again here, mind that you put it on 12 semitones. And it just gives a little bit more schwung to it all. And especially this one is really important. When you take that one off, it sounds weird as a whole. I mean, that's, yeah, it's so much more natural. Yeah, why do I decide that I do this? Yeah, you just hear it in your head. So that was the first section of the drop. Let's go to the second one now. And we're using a different lead. And it's called the crazy lead. And it's indeed crazy. Whoa, okay. Well, I boosted up the highs. Also here, I probably heard it a week later and thought we need more highs. Don't be fooled that it seems like a little bit. It's actually almost 4 dBs, so it's quite a lot. Reverb and sausage fattener to boost the whole thing up. It also, when you put reverb before a limiter like the sausage fattener, it will also boost up the reverbs, which gives a cool effect every now and then. Let's have a listen. Again with the layer of the derp synth. And also what I did here is I gave it this, I ticked this box and put it 116. If you do this, if you put it off, it will just play the note. If you put it like this, it will swing to the note. Let me illustrate. Let's just make it a bit slower. Let's see what we hear then. Okay, don't do that, please. Notice it going a little bit off, and it's because ticking that box, the note, when you first play this note and then play this note, when you play this, it will pitch bend to this note and reach, depending on how much time you give it, it will reach the note here or here if you make it slower. So if we make it even more slow, it will sound weirder than ever. You notice it actually switches around the notes. But I chose 1/16, which means that it will go to the note in approximately this time of one, thing here. Try it around at home, and sometimes it will give some livelihood to your leads. Okay, so then we're on to the bridge section, which is cool as well. That just sucks. But again, it's to blame to OBS running at the same time as FL Studio. Both heavy CPU users. Okay, so let me, I already muted that. Okay, so we get to the break. Actually, this is one of the simplest breaks I ever did. This guitar fuzz is really awesome. Let me mute all the rest. Okay, you see me here opening up the filter, and then it just sounds so awesome. I didn't do anything with it, you know. It sounded cool by itself, so why alter anything which sounds cool? And then we have these chords here. They are really awesome as well. That's it, you know. And I mean, I like the chords. This guitar thing does its trick. It sounds like somebody's playing the guitar, you know, real easily, and it just supports that awesome vocal. I mean, what I learned through this project is don't try too much, you know. If it sounds good, it is good, and that's the golden rule, I think. So even though you're just using two synths, which may sound like, oh, it's real easy, it's hearing it, you know. So I think that's it. That's all I need to say about this project. I think the lesson learned here is that simplicity is key, and working with vocals is just really cool, especially when they sound as badass as Matt B's. make sure you go to www.bassjackers.com, sign up, it's real easy, and then you're able to download this project. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, please. Also, if you have a question, leave it in the comments. Every now and then I'm on there to answer some questions. Please subscribe. As said before, it's the start of season 2. There will come a few more videos, maybe even better than this one. And I promise you, at the end of season 2, you will have learned a lot of stuff. So make sure you subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.